Hello, Zach. This is a review of your lesson from August 28th of 2020. And what we reviewed is listed on this little piece of paper here that I believe you have a picture, starting with the scale and talking about the G grace note scale, GDE triplet exercise, the D throw exercise is what we ended with. So a lot of this is just a refresher, but one of the things you want to make sure is that you're getting consistency. And one of the best ways to do that is to play with a metronome. And while you don't want to do it all the time, it's a good way to check yourself. So what I have is the Piper's metronome set at 4/4 march at 54 beats per minute. And I do check that it does not have accents on any of the beats. So you want to make sure that you don't have accents on any of the beats. And what I'm going to do here is just give you a guide. You can play along with me at 54 on this recording. And we're going to just do a scale from low G up to high A, back down to low G again. So I'm going to start 1, 2. And it's as simple as that. And feel free to increase the tempo as long as you are playing accurately and cleanly. The next item on the agenda was the G grace note scale. And so it's the same idea as before, but with a G grace note. Do the same tempo, 54 beats per minute. So, ready? 1, 2. Now on that scale, you want to make sure you're getting clean transitions. And first and foremost, you want to start with your G grace note finger in the air to start on the low G. And that's the first sound we want to hear is the high G grace note. All right. Also, if you do not hear a clean transition, it's usually because you didn't lead with the G grace note finger to make a transition. For example, if I'm going from from low A to B with a G grace note, sometimes, if I'm not careful, I might go up to the B a little bit before I actually lift the G grace note finger. That's an error. We don't want that, but it might sound like this. Like that. And we don't want to do that because that is not a G grace note going from low A to B. It's actually a low A, a B, and then a G grace note. We don't want that. So you need to be listening for those types of errors. It's very common for that to occur between D and E. So you're going to want to listen for it in that transition as well. If the 54 beats per minute is too fast to play it consistently well, you'll obviously lower the tempo. The next exercise is the GDE triplet. And you're doing very well with these, but I do want to make sure that you are looking at the same finger height on your grace notes. They do not have to be high to get the sound. Actually, the lower the better. So if you can play it low to the chanter and accurately, great. That's what you should be working for. But you do want to be consistent. What I've done on the metronome for this exercise is I've set it to a 3/4 tempo, 3/4 march at 55 beats per minute. And this seems to be a nice, consistent tempo. We already did this in the lesson. So during the lesson, what we did was this exercise sheet here. I have it highlighted. And we're going to do it all the way through the first bar of this line. And when you do it on your own, you can do the entire exercise. But for the purpose of this, as a review, we'll start. So we're going to go here. Ready? 1, 2. So that is a really good exercise in keeping you controlling those triplets. The last thing we talked about, we introduced the D throw. That appears on page 27 of the Green Book, the Green Tutor, and we did review the mechanics of the D throw. We also discussed that you will be playing what's called the heavy D throw, which sounds like this from low A. Again. And the exercise that I asked you to work on for the week is on page 75 of the Green Book, and it is just the throw on D scale. So I'm going to play that now. Go ahead and get your fingers ready. If you need to push pause, get yourself situated, and we're going to play the D throw scale. So ready? 1, 2. You may remember that in our version, with the heavy version, it is not played the way it is written in the notation. We've talked about that. The book actually addresses that on the previous page, on page 27, I believe. So you just must remember that in the heavy version, we're playing 2 low Gs in the D throw before we go to the C and the final D. Happy chantering!